Today's message is for someone who has weathered an intense season of profound challenges. A time when your character was unjustly attacked, I'm hearing, and your integrity was questioned. It's as if your name was dragged through the mud, and not because of any wrongdoing on your part, honestly, but because someone allowed their envy and insecurity to fester into harmful actions. Hey, beautiful souls. Have you ever felt the sting of being misunderstood, misjudged, or even underestimated by those around you? As one of God's chosen ones, you've carried the truth within you all along. This undeniable light that some couldn't recognize or chose to ignore. But here's the incredible news. What they misunderstood about you is now being revealed, and the very people who doubted you are starting to see how very wrong they were. The truth is rising, just as God intended, and your story is about to inspire and transform many lives. If you're ready to step fully into this revelation of your true identity, give me a comment below and let me know what your declaration of faith or power is for others. Wow, so I'm recording this after the channeling that you're about to watch or listen to. It's so powerful and so specific to what's going on right now today that, of course, that's why God needs me to share this as proof. So I'm going to include this story at the end just so that you get what you're meant for and you don't have to just listen to me share my personal life, which is, what I do on this channel. It's how God speaks through me. And it's exactly why you can trust that no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. Beautiful soul. I'm going to share with you in this video why God's been working behind the scenes to reveal the truth about you at the perfect time. By the end of this, you'll see why every challenge, every doubt, and every misjudgment was part of your divine plan. So, beautiful chosen one, you were the truth the whole time. They were so wrong about you. 777, I'm hearing. Because someone allowed their envy and insecurity to fester into harmful actions out of their own unresolved trauma. They fabricated lies and spread false narratives, hoping to diminish your light and make you feel unworthy, isolated, and small. Their actions weren't fueled by truth, but by spite, driven by this inner battle that they themselves can't control. These distortions painted this false image of you, leading others to turn their backs without ever seeking to even know the truth. But even as this storm swirled around you, there was one, undeniable constant. The divine saw everything. They were there from the beginning, working behind the scenes to clear your name and restore what was lost. And in the divine wisdom, knowing the truth, they've always known the real you, your heart, your intentions, and your unwavering faith. What if this season of intense adversity was never about proving your innocence to others, but about deepening your trust in the divine, in justice? Psalm 37:6 reminds us, He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. 333. Can you imagine how powerful it'll be when God Himself lifts the veil of lies and reveals the truth? I'm hearing, consider how Joseph must have felt when his brothers sold him into slavery out of jealousy. Genesis 37:28. He too endured betrayal and false accusations, yet God's hand was upon him that whole time, orchestrating events that would lead to his ultimate vindication and elevation. Does this not parallel your experience? If not, it might not be your story. Just like Joseph's story from the pit to the palace, it revealed God's plans. So the story will testify to your glory. Have you ever stopped to wonder how this season of pain is going to be used for something greater? These people that spelt this falsehood, consumed by jealousy and resentment, they aren't escaping accountability, and God's justice is unrelenting, but it's fair. And He will deal with their actions in His perfect timing. Proverbs 19:5 declares, a false witness will not go unpunished, and whoever pours out lies will not go free. The very lies they use to harm you, I'm hearing, are becoming the weight that they are going to carry until they confront the truth about themselves. Could it be that the God has not only been protecting you, but has been offering them many chances to repent and grow? This moment isn't just about the harm that was done to you. It's about the restoration and healing that the divine is bringing into your life. So you need to ask yourself, 505, how are you going to use your season of vindication to glorify the divine? When the truth comes to life, and it is, I promise, will you allow it to deepen your compassion, strengthen your faith, and remind you of the power of God's divine timing? This storm was never the end of your story. Of course, it's a testimony to the beauty of your journey. But that beauty is that you are resilient. Resilience that refuses to let negativity anchor you to your past. You've moved forward with grace, leaving behind the pain and the people who sought to limit your potential. Those years of distance from toxic influences were not just a break. They were a divine blessing. They allowed you to grow beyond these people's reach, to evolve into a version of yourself that is no longer defined by their words, 555, or their actions. Isn't it actually freaking remarkable that everything that's meant to harm you becomes a catalyst for your growth and transformation? Just as Joseph declared to his brothers in Genesis 15:20, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So too have the trials in your life been repurposed by the divine every time to shape you into the strong and radiant individual that you are today. The lies that were meant to tarnish your name actually have ignited a fire within you. And that light now shines so brightly that it's impossible to ignore. Can't you feel that? People are beginning to notice the undeniable change in you. They see your strength, your confidence, and your alignment with your true purpose. What do they see when they look at you now compared to the image that they once believed? You've embraced a life deeply rooted in this Holy Spirit, in the divine, anchored in, prayer, faith, worship, whatever that means for you. And I don't agree with any religion. I mean the true God. This isn't the same you as a year or 2 or 3 or 4 ago. You've been renewed, transformed, and strengthened by God's fucking grace. 717. God says, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old is gone. The new is here. Doesn't that perfectly describe the you that has emerged, right, from this season? Stronger, more peaceful, and walking confidently in your divine calling. This truth about you is now undeniable, and no amount of negativity can overcome the brilliance of your future, I'm hearing. The lies that once encircled your name are crumbling under the weight of your undeniable progress. Those who once believed these false narratives are beginning to question the source of these stories. They're saying, I thought they were stuck in the same place. Or weren't they supposed to be lacking in ambition? How can they reconcile the lies that were told with the transformation they're now witnessing? The evidence of your growth is speaking louder than any defense you could ever offer. 818. Think about this, beautiful soul. The person who now slandered you is now grappling with the profound truth of your transformation. They're witnessing firsthand God's divine favor over your life. And their shit's being exposed not through confrontation or arguments, but by the sheer force of your progress. Isn't that extraordinary how God, the divine, uses all of their shit to build you for testimony? Like in Proverbs 16:7, when the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, he causes their enemies to make peace with them. Your growth is becoming undeniable proof of the divine's hand upon you in your life, and it's unfortunate, isn't it, that they resorted to public slander in an attempt to diminish you, yet their actions were never truly even about you. Their envy, their own struggles, and their inability to see their worth were the true culprits, and it'll be your blessing. And we all wonder how different their lives could be if they chose kindness instead of jealousy. God's plan for you has always been different. The quick judgments of others, their doubts, accusations, their rejections were never a reflection of you, beautiful soul. Those who mistreated you are all beginning to realize what they lost. The opportunity to know and walk along someone truly remarkable in this life. God, in his infinite wisdom, has protected your blessings, ensuring that they were withheld only until you reach those who will truly support you. So this season was not only about your growth, but also about God refining your circle and guarding you against those that were never meant to partake in your blessings. You stand today as living proof of what God will do with a willing heart, and your transformation is already undeniable. That the purpose for you is to have a bright future. These trials were so necessary to be a beginning of your testimony 1, 2, 3. And as you rise above every challenge, your unwavering character, your steady progress, and your unwielding resilience are speaking louder than any whisper of slander or falsehood ever could. Those around you can't help but continue to marvel at how you transform these trials into victories, setbacks into frickin' stepping stones. You are a shining example of what it means to trust wholeheartedly in divine timing and purpose. Your journey reflects this profound truth found in Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. How could anyone deny the evidence of his work in your life? 111. But here's the twist. The very people that doubted you, criticized you, misunderstood you, they are starting to see the truth. For so long, they viewed you through this distorted lens, one clouded by someone else's jealousy, insecurities, whispers, and sickness of deceit. Have they ever wondered what they might have seen if they had ever just looked beyond that gossip and into your beautiful heart? If they had taken the time to know your spirit, they would have encountered the genuine, kind-hearted person that you have always been. Yet, instead of seeking truth, they allowed themselves to be swayed by rumors. Doesn't this raise a question for them, and even for us all, about how often we let other opinions shape our perceptions and our lives? And now, as the fog of deceit lifts, and they're left grappling with the consequences of their misplaced judgment, their regret is palpable. They wonder why they allowed faceless words to form their view of you. 12:12. Why didn't they take the time to know you for who you truly are? Perhaps they're reminded of the Jesus warning I'm hearing. Matthew 7:1. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. But the realizations, while they're significant, they're not for you to carry, beautiful soul. Your task was never to convince them of who you are. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was to remain steadfast in your truth, trusting that the divine is revealing what needs to be revealed to the right people in the right time. And he has. And what's striking is their envy isn't rooted in anything that you did to harm them. It's about what they sensed in you. They saw your light before you even fully embraced it. They recognized your potential, your purpose, and the divine calling in your life. They really want this shown. This recognition stirs something uncomfortable within them. Could it be that they feel, could it be that their fear wasn't even about you? It was about their own inability to move forward. 13:13. In their stagnancy, your growth became a mirror, reflecting what they lacked. And have you noticed how often that pattern repeats throughout, like the Bible and other religious texts, like Joseph? His brothers sold him into slavery because they couldn't trust the dream that God placed in his heart. 1:331. I'm hearing, yet in the end, Joseph's faith and perseverance brought him to a place of great influence, and he forgave his brothers, saying, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Genesis 50:20. Isn't it extraordinary how God's chosen always rise despite the opposition? Your story echoes the same redemptive arc. Their jealousy, born of their own insecurities, couldn't keep you down. It never will. The light in you, the anointing, the calling, the purpose was always meant to shine through. And now, as they grapple with their own doubts and regrets, you continue and will continue to rise, unshaken. And the question for them is, will they learn from their mistakes? Or are they going to remain trapped by their own limitations? Let this truth be your anchor. You owe nothing and nobody anything or any explanation for your success that is about to be shone in their face. This is the favor that God has placed upon your life. 1440. Psalm 23:5, I'm hearing, you prepare a table before me, 1444, in the presence of my enemies. God's plans for you are not stoppable, and those who doubted you are merely witnesses to his glory unfolding in your life, no longer in theirs. So as you move forward, I'm hearing, remember, your journey isn't just about vindication, but it is. It's about inspiration, your resilience, your faith. They're a testimony to those who need it the most in this world. Can you imagine how many lives are being touched because you chose to trust in the divine, even when everyone misunderstood you? 1515. The truth was always within you, and now it is going to continue to shine brighter and brighter. While they were consumed by fleeting distractions, partying, drinking, chasing temporary pleasures, you chose a different street. And it wasn't the easy one or the most popular. But it was the path of purpose, of faith, and alignment with the divine will. Your decisions reflect your commitment to growth and to a higher calling, prioritizing values over vanity and principles over peer pressure. Isn't it remarkable? Beautiful soul, 1551, 1550. You know, choices, while misunderstood, have the power to shape destinies. While others sought validation and chaos, I'm hearing you sought strength in silence. You sought the divine in whatever way that resonates with you, to build a foundation not in the shifting sands of momentary pleasure, but on the solid rock of faith. And as Jesus taught in Matthew 7:24-25, therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Your steadfast commitment makes others uncomfortable. They can't fathom why you would refuse to indulge in the same shit as them, why you would choose to walk away from drama and trouble. Could it be that your peace unsettled them? Because it highlights their own inner struggles. And as they partook in more reckless and reckless decisions, you're sowing these seeds of wisdom, of discipline, trusting in the harvest that the divine has promised you. Wasn't Joseph also ridiculed and cast aside for his dreams, only to later rise to a position of great authority, as described in the Genesis 41:44? Your story mirrors this timeless truth. Staying faithful to the plan of the divine often leads to elevation beyond human understanding. Now, 1717, God is lifting you to a higher level, a place not just of visible success, but of spiritual hierarchy and clarity. This elevation will be leaving many wounded and bewildered. They're beginning to see that the negative things that were once said about you were never rooted in reality, but in their own insecurities. Yet their regrets, their attempts to reconcile, and their struggles to accept you and your transformation aren't your burden to carry. Your calling now is to protect this peace that you're cultivating, the purpose you've embraced, and the sacred space where God continues to work within you and through you. These individuals are revealing their true natures through their actions, spreading lies, showing disrespect, and sowing these seeds of deceit, and you owe them absolutely nothing. As a child of God, your worth is not tied to their opinions. Remember Jeremiah 1:5, where God declares, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Your value comes from the Creator, the Source Creator, who designed you with intention, with purpose, and who sees the goodness in your heart when everyone else failed to. Now, God is turning the tide, I'm hearing. He is going to be allowing everyone to see you in your true light, revealing the truth of who you have always been. Someone full of grace, strength, and unwavering purpose. This transformation is not just about seeking personal vindication. It's about God's glory working in your life. You've been elevated in his kingdom to reflect this power, this grace to the world. And as it says in Matthew, let your light shine before others, that they might see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Through every trial, I'm hearing, is for this upcoming moment, this discipline, the faith, and the perseverance that you've cultivated in private are now going to be bearing fruit for all to see. And whether they admire you from a distance, they say, or continue to wrestle with resentment, doesn't matter. Their opinions have no bearing on the divine's plan for your life. What really matters is that you remain focused on your calling. Walk your path with the grace that brought you to this spot. Ask yourself, beautiful soul, how are you going to continue to honor the divine with this elevation? How are you going to use your testimony to inspire others who are walking similar paths of faith? Your story is not just a testament to your resilience. It's a beacon of hope for those who are searching for their own strength. Remember, every step you take is part of a divine design, and your journey is blessed beyond measure. The divine sees the depth of your heart, the purity of your intentions, and the steadfast strength of your spirit, I'm hearing. Knowing you in ways no one will ever be able to, unless they allow themselves, of course. The Lord doesn't look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the divine looks at the heart, just like you. And you've been placed exactly where you are for a divine purpose. And no amount of attack will stop your divine purpose. And let those people who are attacking and judging you keep their distance. Their purpose isn't required in the next season of your life, nor is it welcomed or allowed. You're to embrace your calling and to fulfill the purpose that the divine has ordained for you and those who are meant to partake in your blessings. This moment of vindication, I guess, is to teach you that they were never meant to walk with you. Their absence is part of God's design. And do you feel the peace in knowing that their opinions could never ever hold power over you anymore? Trust that the divine, in the perfect, intricate wisdom, will figure this out. Because even right at this very second, the divine is hearing and looking at your intentions with judgment, and knows that you're nothing like the people that sought to damage your name and attempt to humiliate you in front of other people. You know, their actions were never a reflection of you. It was a manifestation of their jealousy, insecurity, and inner struggle. And that's why you've always felt out of place among them. You are not meant to fit into their circle or conform to their ways, because you've always set apart, chosen, and destined for something far greater. Look at David, who was overlooked by his own family when the prophet Samuel came to anoint a new king. The brothers were judged by their stature and outward strength, 2. But God chose the humble shepherd boy for greatness. I'm hearing your life reflects the same truth. Being set apart often means being misunderstood, but it also means being chosen for a purpose beyond human comprehension. How often do we see God elevate those who were underestimated? The actions of those who tried to dim your light were never about who you are. It's about their own inadequacies. They saw the brilliance of your light, and instead of celebrating or sharing that, they tried to diminish it out of fear and envy. Yet, no one can extinguish a flame that God has ignited. As Jesus said in the Matthew 5:14-16, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. Your light was always meant to shine, not to be concealed by the shadows of other insecurities. Think about this. What does this say about the strength of your spirit, that even their attempts to tear you down could never break you? Their jealousy, this deceit, was meant to shake your foundation, but your trust in God keeps you standing firm. Perhaps their actions were meant to test your faith, to refine you, beautiful soul, and to prepare you for this elevation that you are about to experience. Isn't it incredible how God even uses the schemes of others to strengthen you in every fucking moment? This was the season for you to fully embrace who God created you to be. Let their opinions, their judgments, their doubt remain behind you where they belong. Your worth has always been defined by the divine and by your purpose and love, not by the words or actions of weaker humans around you. Walk boldly into this new chapter, knowing that their inability to see your value says everything about them and nothing about you. And here's the most beautiful, beautiful truth of all. What God has illuminated, no one can dim. You are living proof of His grace His power, 2444, a reflection of his glory in the flesh. So continue to shine, not just for your own recognition, but to glorify the divine, to teach and show others, inspire them, people who are still searching for their path. Trust in your journey ahead, because it is divinely guided and richly blessed. Now, those who spoke ill of you, they're being forced to face the weight of their words, the consequences of their actions, the harshful judgments, the slander, and the bridges that they so carelessly burned have left them all in regret. They will all come to terms with the truth they distorted and the harm that they caused. But even with these realizations, their chapter in your life is closed, beautiful soul. They failed to treat you with respect, kindness, or understanding when it mattered the most. How then could they now expect divine forgiveness, favors, or a return to the closeness they once abused? God is elevating you to a higher and more peaceful place, far removed from the negativity and harm that they've intended for you. While they tried to label you with lies and distort the truth to paint you as a problem, their actions ultimately exposed their true nature. Isn't it striking how their deceit revealed so much more about them than it ever did about you? Your integrity, your values, your unwavering commitment to doing what is right have always set you apart. The situation mirrors this timeless story of Jesus and the adulterous woman in John 8:7. When her accusers were ready to stone her, Jesus responded with piercing wisdom. Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. Those words forced the crowd to confront their own shortcomings, and one by one, they scattered. Similarly, those who were tarnishing your name are now being confronted by the weight of their own actions. And they will be dropping their proverbial stones and retreating, beautiful frickin' soul. And not because they're so righteous, but they realize their faults overshadow your actions. They once hoped to see you fall, to witness your fall, so they could justify their narratives that they said about you. They poured this energy, literally, into tearing you down. They underestimated the divine protection over your life. God has been your shield, guiding you through these storms and ensuring that all of their plans did not prosper. They might have touched you for a minute or two, but even in your weakest moment, you're a fucking machine, I'm hearing. No weapon against you will ever prevail, and you will refute every tongue that ever accused you, I'm hearing. Seriously, every single scheme that they devised has been serving to help the divine show this undeniable grace in your life. How often have the storms in your life shown you, created this faith, right? Nothing broke you. You've been being showcased, your faith, your resilience. These actions of other people were not just tests. It was an opportunity for God to present who you are to the world. 2808. I'm hearing, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. To accomplish what is now being done, the harm intended for you has been turned into a testimony of God's grace. Their voices, once so loud, condemning, are being silenced by the undeniable truth, 2828, of who you are. Their judgments have lost their sting because they hold no authority over your destiny. Only God defines your path, and He's made it clear that you are His beloved child, set apart for a purpose. As Romans 8:31 reminds us, if God is for us, who can be against us? That's why you don't need to worry about their opinions, their judgments. The truth of your character and the favor of the divine in your life speaks louder than any accusation ever could. Their attempts to break you have always just magnified the light within you every time, and now their voices are being drowned out by the resounding evidence of the divine's hand at work in your life. So what are you going to do with this newfound freedom? How are you going to continue to walk in peace and purpose? Remember, beautiful soul, your story, it's not just a reflection of resilience. It's a testament to the power of divine truth. Trust that you will continue to be guided, shielded, and elevated above every challenge. Let your light shine, knowing that no voice of deception will ever keep you bound. Those who sought to harm you are done. God is opening new doors, creating opportunities that are aligned with the divine purpose for everybody's life. The path before you is clear, free from the negativity of those who never valued your heart, I'm hearing. And it's about stepping into your calling fully, unshackled by the judgments of others. Can you feel that peace, knowing that you are no longer going to be bound or affected by anybody's judgments? They can watch you from the sidelines if they want, but they will not have access to your joy, your life, or your energy. Isaiah 18:19, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do not perceive it. God is preparing new relationships, new blessings, and new purposes tailored specifically for your beautiful ass. Nothing that they say or do can alter his plan for your life. Your journey is blessed, protected, and divinely guided. Stand firm in your growth, knowing that every stone they threw has become a stepping stone, leading you closer to your destiny and that God prepared for you. All of this lies they spread, exposing the truth of their intentions is actually what happened. Showing how God uses the schemes of others to elevate the chosen ones. And as Romans 8:28 reminds us, I'm hearing, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, 31:31, who have been called according to his purpose. Not to be repetitive, but that's what they're doing. So take it in. The consequences of their actions, I'm hearing, are catching up with them. The lies they spread, the deceit they sowed. You don't have to worry about it anymore. The ones that cast judgment on you are being forced to face the truth of their behavior. Their schemes intended to break you are now exposing their egos, I'm hearing. People around them are all beginning to see their true nature, recognizing the faceless cruelty of their actions. And isn't it ironic how their attempts to tarnish your reputation have actually freed you and have now been reflecting back on them? From the start, your nature was different. You always approached life with this kindness, this quiet focus on your own path. And while you walked your God-ordained path, minding your own damn business and staying aligned with your values, they couldn't handle your light. Their actions were never about you. Their ego, their struggles, their jealousy, and their inability to cope with seeing you thrive made them crazier. Like Joseph's brothers, who harmed him out of envy. Their actions were born of fear and insecurity. And now the cycle they set into motion has turned against them. They wanted to humiliate you, but their own public embarrassment has become unavoidable. They sought to create obstacles in your life, yet they're finding themselves ensnared in the negativity that they unleashed for you. 33:11, what they intended for harm, I'm hearing, has been redirected by God, highlighting his unwavering protection in your life. Proverbs 26:27, whoever digs a pit is falling into it. If someone rolls a stone, it's going to roll back to them. Their actions, once designed to elevate themselves by diminishing you, 33:33, have only revealed their shortcomings. Life has a way of turning things around. They're now facing the consequences of their choices. But this too is not your burden, beautiful soul. The divine has set you apart for a reason, and your focus must remain on the blessings and purpose that are placed before you, 33:55. It's your time to step fully into your calling, free from the shadows of their deceit. All the hardships they intended have been transformed into evidence of God's favor in your life. Your worth has never been defined by their worth and their opinions, but by God's. Isn't it empowering to know that their schemes have only served to magnify your glory? Beautiful soul, walk boldly into your future, knowing their actions will never touch you. The truth of who you are and who God says you are will always prevail. Your journey is divinely orchestrated, and every step you take is a testament to his faithfulness. This journey is not about vengeance. It's about the natural laws of life. That God's divine justice will make things right. All the chaos they stirred were never sustainable. They will reap all the consequences of their actions, a sobering reality that has absolutely nothing to do with you. And do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Their harvest will be a natural outcome of seeds planted in jealousy, deceit, and malice. But your role in this season, beautiful soul, is not to dwell on their downfall, carry resentment or sadness. Forgiveness is your path forward. It's not to excuse their shit behavior, but just frees yourself, right, from the grip of their negativity. By choosing to forgive them, you reclaim your peace, your energy, and your power and focus. Forgiveness, as Jesus taught in Matthew 6:14, is as much a gift to yourself as it is a reflection of God's grace. For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your Heavenly Father will also forgive you. That said, forgiveness doesn't equate to re-entry. You are not to let them back into your life. God says those who show their true character show that they deserve no other chance to disrupt your life or your peace. Those meant for you are hearing the call to you. Reconciliation is only for the other chosen. I'm hearing, let the rest remain outside the sacred space you're working to protect. Your faith, your resilience have brought you to this place, while they will remain caught in the cycles that they created, and you will continue to rise. You're going to continue to thrive in spite of their attempts to bring you down. It's a beautiful testament to God's protection that no matter what they fucking pull, you will emerge stronger, brighter, more aligned. Psalm 75, Prop 7. It is God who judges. He brings one down. He exalts another. Their actions hold no power over your destiny because your elevation comes from the hand of God. So as you move forward, let your heart remain soft, but your boundaries firm. Trust in God's guidance, protection, as you walk boldly into the future He has planned for you. They will no longer be able to influence your story. Their schemes, their judgments, their negativity are no match for God. Consider Joseph one more time before I say goodbye, beautiful soul. He forgave his brothers, not to excuse their betrayal, but to align with the greater plan. When he stood before them in the Genesis 15:20, he said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done." Fourth time I'm saying this, but that's the point I want to make. The saving of many lives and thriving in the position that God had prepared for him. Your forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. Walk forward in grace, knowing that your story is blessed. Their actions will no longer define it. Keep them at a distance. Let them watch while you continue to thrive. Their choices are their burden to bear, and the consequences they face are a reflection of their own actions, not yours. Could you imagine how it's going to feel, releasing it all and embracing all the blessings that are coming for you? I'm hearing you are so favored. So as you move ahead, focus on the abundance of blessings waiting for you, I'm hearing. And you will continue to trust that you are protected and being led to even greater heights than you could have ever imagined. I'm hearing every step they took towards you got you an extra blessing. Every single time, not joking, without doubt, 100%. Look back on your journey, I'm being told. Reflect on it, see it, feel it, know it, and walk forward with that knowledge. You're free. Live your life filled with peace, purpose, and abundance. A life that reflects God's promises as truly written. Plans to prosper you, plans to give you hope in a future. Those who once had a chance to celebrate your successes and share in the joy of your achievements, they made a different choice. Instead of offering gratitude or admiration, they allowed jealousy and resentment to take root in their hearts. Rather than help support you, they sought to tear you down, using negativity as their weapon. Yet their choices have led them into a mess of their own making. They will be facing the consequences of the seeds they sowed. A man reaps what he sows. Meanwhile, you will continue to rise, unbothered, untouched, and thriving. God's hand is evident in your elevation, lifting you higher for all to see, His light radiating through you, making it abundantly clear who you are and what you carry. Your character, grounded in integrity and faith, will continue to speak volumes, far outshining any attempts to tarnish your name. I'm hearing, why should you look back at those who tried to hold you down? Their choices led them to their consequences, and your story is moving into a beautiful new chapter, one filled with blessings beyond imagination. I love you, beautiful soul.